Hello and welcome to the news updates on AFRICUNIA television, reaching you from the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria, where the confusion within the ruling All Progressives Congress was palpable yesterday when the National Working Committee released yet another revised timetable and schedule of activities for the governorship, State House of Assembly, Senate and House of Representatives primary elections. The new schedule, which comes a day after the party adjusted the old timetable, had a slight alteration in the date. Unlike in the previous schedule of activities, the primary for the 340 senatorial aspirants that were slated for Friday, May 27th, will now hold on Saturday, May 28th. On the other hand, the primary for the House of Representative aspirants, earlier scheduled for Saturday, May 28th, has been shifted back to Friday, May 27th. Accordingly, the dates for primaries of the 145 governorship and State House of Assembly aspirants remains the same, Thursday, May 26th. While apologizing for the late-minute adjustment, National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moka, disclosed that the special convention for the presidential primary will still hold on scheduled Sunday, May 29th to Monday 30th. The suspense over the suspended presidential screening scheduled to hold yesterday continued last night as indications emerged that the proposed meeting of President Muhammadu Buhari with progressive governors might be delayed till another day. Still in Nigeria, the federal government has been given an ultimatum of 7 days by terrorists to enter into meaningful dialogue over the kidnapped victims of the Abuja Kaduna train attack. Otherwise, they would be killed. However, the terrorists said negotiation with the government would not be centered on money. The terrorists who contacted the spokesman of Sheikh Ahmed Mahmoud Gumi, Malam Toko Mamu, on phone said Mamu is the only person they can trust in the media and urged him to convey their messages exactly as stated to the federal government, families of the victims, and Nigerians in general. In telephone conversation with Mamu, the abductors said the federal government has contacted them on how to secure the release of the abducted passengers, but there seems to be insincerity on the part of the government, putting their lives at risk. The terrorists added that the federal government suspended the resumption of the train service because of their threat. Meanwhile, experts have expressed mixed reaction over the telephone call by terrorists threatening to kill the kidnapped victims. According to them, the telephone call from the leaders of the terrorists indicates progress in the all-state negotiation processes. Meanwhile, policemen attached to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) fired gunshots at the residence of former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha yesterday as the commission moved to forcibly arrest him for jumping bail and refusing the EFCC's invitation. In a commando operation, the operative broke down the doors of Okorocha's residence with heavy equipment and large stones, shattering the building's ceiling and glass panel in the process. One of the sons of the senator for Imo West Senatorial District was injured in the stampede that ensued following a sustained standoff between Okorocha supporters and security personnel. The police also fired tear gas to disperse the supporters of the presidential aspirants of the All Progressives Congress. Tear gas was also used inside Okorocha's residence by the operatives before whisking him off at 6:41 p.m. However, a statement issued later by EFCC stated that the agency was after Okorocha following his refusal to honor an invitation extended to him after jumping bail. And now the move of refusal followed the former governor to honor invitations after jumping the administrative bail earlier granted him by the commission. Still on the African scene, shortly after Hassan Sheikh Mohammed was inaugurated as president of Somalia Monday, the UN envoy for the country hailed the peaceful transfer of power. Outgoing President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed Farmajo graciously conceded and congratulated and extended support to his successor, James Swan, the special representative of the Secretary General and head of the UN Assistance Mission in Somalia, told the UN Security Council. The new president was immediately sworn in and the outcome has been fully accepted. As this council has noted repeatedly, Madam President, it is past time for Somali leaders to move beyond the prolonged political contest to focus on urgent national priorities. African Union Special Representative Francisco Madeira told the council that in his electoral manifesto, Somalia's new president placed emphasis on liberating the country from Al-Shabaab, opening up the main supply routes and ensuring that the security forces do not interfere in politics. We now head to the foreign scene. A teenage gunman murdered at least 19 children and 2 teachers after storming into a Texas elementary school on Tuesday. The latest bout of gun-fueled mass killing in the United States and the nation's worst school shooting in nearly a decade. The carnage began with the 18-year-old suspect, identified as Salvador Ramos, shooting his own grandmother, who survived. He fled that scene and crashed his car near the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, a town about 80 miles west of San Antonio. There he launched a bloody rampage that ended when he was killed, apparently shot by the police. Law enforcement officers saw the gunman clad in body armor emerge from the crashed vehicle carrying a rifle and engaged the suspect, who nevertheless managed to charge into the building and open fire. Speaking from the White House hours later, a visible shaken President Joe Biden urged the Americans to stand up to the politically powerful gun lobby, which he blamed for blocking enactment of tougher firearm safety laws. Biden ordered flags flown at half-staff daily until sunset on Saturday in observance of the tragedy. Now moving on, the outbreak of monkeypox cases outside of Africa can be contained, the World Health Organization said on Tuesday, as more governments said they would launch limited vaccination to combat rising infections of the virus. The move comes as authority investigated 237 suspected and confirmed cases of the virus in 19 countries since early May. That number is expected to increase, but most of the infections so far have not been severe. On Tuesday, England reported 14 new cases, taking its total to 70 since May 7th, and United Arab Emirates and the Czech Republic registered their first infection. Still on the foreign scene, China COVID hit capital Beijing, further tightened its dragnet on the virus with zero community transmission, the target punishing workplaces that flout rules or circumvent curbs and imploring residents to police their own movement. While these have been mostly in quarantine areas, a handful have been found in the community at large, illustrating the high transmissibility of the Omicron variant and the challenges that poses to the world's most stringent of pandemic containment policy. With Shanghai, China's business and commercial hub, and numerous other giant cities also shackled by partial lockdown or other curbs, the zero-COVID approach remains the government's focus, despite the damage it has done to the world's second biggest economy and global supply chains. Export from Shanghai, the world's largest container port, divided or dived 44% last month from a year earlier, and imports fell by a third, the local statistics bureau said on Tuesday. Now away from the foreign scene, we now head to the sports scene, where Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp has been named the League Manager Association's Manager of the Year. The German 54 collected the Sir Alex Ferguson Trophy, which is voted for by the full membership of managers across all divisions. Klopp also won the Premier League Manager of the Year, despite his side missing out of the title by a point to Manchester City on Sunday. Klopp Liverpool have already won the FA Cup and League Cup this season and meet Real Madrid in the finals of the Champions League on Saturday, while City boss Pep Guardiola's Brentford Thomas Frank, Newcastle Eddie Howe, and Crystal Palace Patrick Vieira were the others on the Premier League award shortlist. And finally, David Alaba has declared Real Madrid readiness for the Champions League final against dreaded Liverpool. According to him, Real Madrid players are enjoying the build-up towards the great battle in Europe this summer. Expectations are growing as the date of the final approaches, and many are expecting it to be an intense battle between the two of European football's most prestigious sides. Alaba himself has won 3 titles in his successful career to date and is very grateful for what he has been able to achieve. And that concludes the news update on AFRICUNIA television. Do ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment for us on the comment section. To also stay connected and up to date with news and other programs, follow all our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Jointum, and on Pangram. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.